dragged from their homes and kidnapped by Hamas. 4 hostages returned home in coffins after 503 days in captivity.
יום מטלטל, יום של יגון. אנחנו מחזירים הביתה 4 מחטופינו האהובים, חללים. אנחנו מחבקים את המשפחות, והלב של אומה שלמה נקרא. הלב שלי נקרא, גם שלכם. וצריך שהלב של כל העולם יקרא. כי פה רואים מול מי יש לנו עסק, עם מה יש לנו עסק, עם איזה מפלצות. אנחנו עוד אוהבים, אנחנו כואבים, אבל אנחנו גם נחושים להבטיח שדבר כזה לא יקרה יותר.
Israel marked a day of grief as 4 hostage bodies were handed over by Hamas militants in Gaza's Khan Yunis as part of the fragile ceasefire deal. The bodies included the youngest hostage, Kfir Bibas, a 9-month-old baby, along with his 4-year-old brother, Ariel, and his mom, Shiri, who was 32. The 4th body was of Oded Lifshitz, who was 83 years old when he was kidnapped along with his wife from kibbutz on October 7, 2023. Masked Hamas gunmen laid down the black coffins on a stage with a banner in the background saying, "The war criminal Netanyahu and his Nazi army killed them with missiles from Zionist warplanes." Each coffin bore a small photo of each of the dead, with white mock-up missiles placed nearby. Hamas handed over the 4 coffins to the humanitarian organization Red Cross, who in turn transferred the bodies to the Israeli military inside the Gaza Strip. After receiving the bodies, the Israeli Defense Force paid homage to the fallen hostages in Gaza. The coffins were then wrapped in Israeli flags and taken to the Abu Kabir Forensic Institute for Identification in Tel Aviv.
Today is going to be a very sad day to the state of Israel because we had a lot of casualties. The Hamas raped, burned, killed, massacred a lot of women, men, and children in October 7th, 23. But we knew about those hostages, the Bibas family. We saw them being taken alive and captured by the Hamas. And the lies that they're trying to spread around the world today, that supposedly they died because Israeli bombed in Gaza and they got killed. It's the biggest lie. They just massacred and murdered those people. There's no mercy with those people.
While Israel accuses Hamas of killing the 4 hostages, the militant group claims that they were killed by Israeli bombardment in 2023. Hamas claimed that Israel's army killed the hostages along with their captors. In a message to the grieving families, Hamas said, "We would have preferred your sons to return to you alive, but your army and government leaders chose to kill them instead of bringing them back." Hamas sent a blaring message that the slain hostages were victims of a leadership that does not care about its children. The Bibas family became a symbol of the hostage crisis since their kids were the youngest captives abducted on October 7th. The footage of the abduction showed their frightened mother tightly holding on to her kids while being dragged out of her home along with her husband. Israeli protesters cried and demanded Prime Minister Netanyahu to get back the kids held captive by Hamas.
It's like the Schindler List. We are waiting to see who's gonna survive, who's not. And unfortunately, we're speaking about my cousin Shiri and the 2 little kids. Ariel is only 4 years old, and Kfir is now about 10.5 months old. He's almost 15% of his life is in prison. He's not prison, he's in captivity somewhere on the ground.
On February 1st, 2025, Hamas released Oded Bibas, the father, as part of a ceasefire deal. But unfortunately, the rest of the Bibas family didn't make it home alive. The Forensic Institute confirmed that the 4th body received was Oded Lifshitz.
We know that he was alive and shared a room with another hostage for the first few weeks with Khan Katzir. We know that he's 84. He was frail when he was taken hostage. It's part of the cruelty of it. I mean, how can you take a 83-year-old man hostage?
The family of Oded released a statement claiming that the body of their father and grandfather, who was returned, has been positively identified. After a lifetime of anxious waiting, 2 hostage families were met with heartbreaking news. But the plight of the remaining 69 Israelis in Hamas captivity is hanging by a thread.